Regulation always comes before transformation. Now, let me say that again, because most people miss it. You cannot transform whilst your nervous system is dysregulated. You cannot create lasting change when your body thinks it's in survival mode. And yet, this is exactly where most people try to change from. They push, they hustle, they willpower their way into new habits, only to burn out, relapse, and feel even worse than before. Now, today, I'm going to show you why that happens and the 4 R's of regulation that can change everything. Hi, I'm Arina Papa, founder of the AP Method, and if you're ready to do life, love, and success in a way that actually gets you results, then this video and this channel is for you, and you're going to love today's video. But before we really get into it, let me ask you one quick favor. Everything starts with clarity. So make sure you download my free Discover Your Core Values workbook. The link is in the description and it's the foundation for all transformation. And if you're enjoying this content, also please like and subscribe. It helps me grow the channel and reach more people who are also ready for this kind of change. Now let's get into it. When we talk about change, most people focus on mindset. Set goals, shift beliefs, visualize success. And while that's all important, here's the catch. If your nervous system is dysregulated, none of it sticks. You're trying to plant seeds in soil that's too dry, too chaotic, too unstable. Think about it. Have you ever tried to meditate when you're deeply stressed, or tried to have a calm conversation when you're angry, or tried to make a big life decision when you're exhausted? It doesn't work, and it's not because you lack discipline. It's because biology always overrides psychology. Neuroscience also proved this. When your body is in fight or flight mode, your sympathetic nervous system is dominant. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, they flood your system. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking, long-term planning, and self-control, well, it goes offline. Instead, the amygdala, your fear center, takes over. This is why you keep snapping at people even though you know better. This is why you keep reaching for food, for your phone, for distractions, even when you swore you'd stop. Awareness is useless if your nervous system is still in survival mode. So here's the truth. You cannot think your way into transformation. You have to regulate your way into it. And that's where the 4 R's come in. Respiration, release, refresh, and rest. These are really simple but powerful practices that bring your body back to balance, switch you out of fight or flight, and open the doorway to lasting change. So let's break them down one by one. Respiration is the first one. So this is breathing. It's gonna sound simple, but breath is the fastest way to change your state. Harvard studies have shown that slow, deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, which is like the brake pedal of your nervous system. When you stimulate the vagus nerve, it signals your body to relax, lowers your heart rate, and reduces the stress hormones. One fascinating study published in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience showed that participants who practiced slow, controlled breathing for just 5 minutes experienced measurable changes in brain activity. Their prefrontal cortex lit up and their amygdala calmed down. In other words, the very part of the brain you need for transformation switched back on. But here's what most people don't realize. There isn't just one right way to breathe. There are multiple methods you can experiment with. There's box breathing, inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. This is used by Navy SEALs to stay calm under pressure. There's also resonance breathing. Breathe at a rate of 5 to 6 breaths per minute. Now, research from Rutgers University shows this optimizes heart rate variability and resilience. There's also alternate nostril breathing, a yogic practice shown in Indian medical studies to balance activity between the 2 hemispheres of the brain. Now, why does this matter for transformation? Well, because the body always leads the mind. If you want to change your mindset, you have to start with your physiology. Imagine this. You're about to give a big presentation at work. Your heart is racing, your palms are sweating. You can tell yourself, calm down 100 times, but nothing changes. Instead, you pause, close your eyes, and do 2 minutes of box breathing. Your body then calms, your heart rate drops, your prefrontal cortex comes back online, and now you can actually deliver. Your journaling prompt for respiration is this: when in my day do I lose my breath? When do I notice shallow breathing, holding my breath, or sighing? And how would my response change if I paused to breathe first? Now, for a deeper practice, track your breath for 1 week. Each night, write, did I remember to breathe today? When did I forget? When did I consciously reset? This builds awareness and habit at the same time. Now let's talk about release. Your body holds emotion. Trauma, stress, tension, it's all stored physically. That's why your shoulders tighten when you're anxious, your jaw clenches when you're angry, or your stomach knots when you're worried. And if you don't release that energy, it builds up and drives your behavior unconsciously. Dr. Basil van der Kolk, in his famous book, The Body Keeps the Score, explains that unprocessed trauma lives in the body as much as in the mind. And the research backs this up. A study from the University of Wisconsin found that people who practice physical release, like shaking, stretching, or even dancing, reported significantly lower stress and higher emotional resilience. Movement literally shifted their emotional state. And here's the deeper layer. Every culture throughout history has had rituals of release. From tribal drumming and dance to shaking practices in animals, release is universal. Watch a dog after a stressful encounter. It shakes its body out. That's not random. That's biological wisdom. Humans are the only species that try to think away what the body needs to shake out. Release also matters in relationships. Think of how many arguments spiral because both people are holding tension. If you pause to release, shake your hands, stretch, walk around the block, you come back regulated and the conversation goes differently. Now, your journaling prompt for release is, what emotions am I holding in my body right now? If my body could speak, what would it say it's tired of carrying? And what movement would feel like freedom to me today? And for a deeper layer, try this over 3 days. Day 1, notice tension in your shoulders and jaw. Day 2, focus on your breath and chest. And day 3, focus on your gut and hips. Write what you feel and what movement releases it. This will teach you where you hold emotion and how to set it free. Now, let's talk about refresh. This one surprises people because it's about shocking your system back into balance. Think cold showers, splashing your face with cold water, stepping into fresh air, or grounding your feet on the earth. So why does this matter? Well, because your nervous system gets stuck in patterns. Sometimes the fastest way to reset it is to jolt it. Research on cold exposure, like the work of Wim Hof and studies from Radboud University, they show that cold immersion stimulates the vagus nerve. It boosts the mood and even strengthens the immune system. People who practice daily cold exposure not only felt calmer, they showed measurable changes in stress resilience. And it doesn't have to be ice baths. One interesting study from Stanford found that even rinsing your face with cold water reduces stress perception. Another study on forest bathing in Japan showed that simply spending 20 minutes in nature lowered cortisol levels by nearly 15%. And here's something even more fascinating. NASA has even studied the effect of blue light and natural rhythms on astronauts. Why? Well, because the body needs environmental cues to regulate. Even in space, refresh rituals matter. So here's your practice. End your shower with 30 seconds of cold water, or 60 if you're brave. Step outside barefoot for 5 minutes, splash your face with cold water when you feel overwhelmed, and notice how quickly your state shifts. And your journaling prompt for refresh is, what simple ritual could I add to my day that jolts me back into presence? Where do I keep numbing out, and how could I choose to refresh instead? And here's a multi-day reflection. For 3 days, notice what environments drain you and which ones refresh you. Write down, when I'm in nature, how does my body feel? When I'm in clutter, how does my body feel? Then ask, what's one change I could make to refresh my daily environment? And last but not least is rest. Now, this is one that people resist the most, but it's also the most essential. Rest doesn't just mean sleep, though quality sleep is a cornerstone of regulation, but rest means pausing between stimulus and response. It means giving your nervous system space to downshift. There's a famous experiment called the marshmallow test, where children were offered 1 marshmallow immediately or 2 if they waited. What predicted their success later in life wasn't intelligence, it was the ability to pause, to delay gratification. That pause is a form of rest. Now, just to speak from my own experience and something that I have tried again and again that has totally changed the game for me is when I get some news or when I get something that I have to deal with there on the spot, I will often give myself a little bit of time to think about the issue at hand. So I'll often say, okay, leave this with me and I will get back to you in the next 30 minutes with a solution, or the next hour, or whatever feels comfortable at the time. This has completely changed the game when it comes to my reactions to a certain stimulus. It's okay to take a little bit of time. You don't have to react on the spot. Now, going back to rest as in sleep, neuroscience shows that rest consolidates learning. During sleep, your brain literally prunes old connections and strengthens new ones. Without rest, you don't integrate change. But let's go deeper. The science of circadian rhythms shows that rest isn't just about quantity, it's about timing. Exposing yourself to natural light in the morning, winding down with darkness at night, and allowing ultradian rhythms, 90-minute focus cycles followed by breaks, makes your brain far more effective. And one interesting study from UC Berkeley found that even short naps improved problem solving by 40%. Another study from Harvard showed that people who slept on a problem were twice as likely to find creative solutions the next day. Your brain literally works while you rest. So here's your practice. Build micro rests into your day. A few deep breaths before a meeting, closing your eyes for 1 minute between tasks, turning off screens an hour before bed. These little pauses tell your nervous system it's safe to reset. And your journaling prompt for rest is, where in my life do I refuse to pause? What am I afraid will happen if I rest? And what might become possible if I gave myself permission to slow down? And for a deeper practice, track your rest for a week. Each day write, how many pauses did I give myself today? How many did I resist? And what changed in my energy when I allowed myself to stop? Now let me tie all of this together. Respiration, release, refresh, and rest are not just self-care habits. They are the foundation of transformation. Because here's the thing most people never realize. Regulation isn't optional. It's the prerequisite. If you try to change your life without regulating first, you're building on quicksand. But when you regulate, when you breathe, release, refresh, and rest, you build a foundation solid enough for any transformation to last. And science proves it, from vagus nerve activation to trauma release to cold exposure to sleep cycles. Your biology always comes first. Change is not about willpower, it's about wiring, and regulation is how you rewire. So let's land this. Awareness without action doesn't work, and action without regulation doesn't last. Transformation requires both. First, regulate your state, then take the action and repeat until it becomes who you are. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are simply wired into old patterns, and with the 4 R's, you can begin to rewire into new ones right now. So download my free Discover Your Core Values workbook below, and if you're ready for deeper work, book a one-to-one call with me, join my Freedom Formula workshop, or sign up for the program coming up soon. You are here to rise into sustainable transformation and step into a new identity, and that begins when you choose regulation before transformation. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye for now.